Hello everybody, my name is Troublmaker. Wargame European Escalations Wargame Cup here, and we have a match between the NATO player, FLX, and the Pact player, maxiking. Both these are pretty low-level players. They've been actually sniping a couple fairly higher-level players and doing pretty well, and so they meet each other. So Wargame coverage has slowed down quite a bit, and this is largely the fact with there's not a lot of games being put out. It's still the holiday season, and most people are waiting until the very end. So, looking at the loading here for FLX, he's got a group of infantry and mortars with a VAB PC on this path here. So he might be trying to go for Foxtrot with this one. And this one here is positioned heading on this northeastern flank, no doubt going for Golf. And you know, a small mixture of tanks, infantry, some Zippos here. Not too shabby. And here we see a lot of infantry and anti-tank weapons here from our pack player maxiking. Actually, a lot of infantry, a lot of anti-tank weapons. And of course, this weapon's actually fairly good for anti-tank weapons and anti-infantry weapons. And whoa. This is becoming a very, very new standard of play. A lot of helicopters being deployed at all flanks, and the helicopters will spot any infantry rushes, and so immediately we see the Gazelle is going to spot the giant amount of infantry here. Let's see if we can actually see it. Nope, he does not actually see it, and unfortunately it's going to get shot down immediately by some anti-air weaponry. And here's the second one coming along the corner, wanting to get this MI9, which of course is about a 100-point recon vehicle. If you can get that, that would be huge, but it looks like he will in fact get taken out by the anti-aircraft gun. Helicopters not used quite effectively, and we can see immediately that there are a lot of infantry flushing forward to try and deny this Foxtrot location, which we have Abrams loading up, trying to take out some of these infantry vehicles, but oh, the Zalos are coming in as well, firing across, trying to knock out the Abrams, a very expensive key target to knock out, and we can see lots of infantry vehicles powering up as well. I don't know why, but maxiking hasn't quite deployed his infantry yet. So he's going to try and create a nice little wall of front infantry, something that won't be so easily cleaned up. And here's a T-80U moving up. Oh, a Bertino might be too close to the front. Needs to get in range to fire, however. And we can see the T-80U is actually getting hit and is forced to pull back immediately because these Panzergrenadiers are unloading. And a small little flank skirmish here looks like it was immediately cleaned up by this group of helicopters. Oh, it was actually the final helicopter of FLX, which has just been completely used inefficiently. I mean, those are sniper units that you just cannot lose. And it looks like the majority of maxiking's forces in the middle have been pushed back, but having said that, there's a small flanking moving across the side here from FLX as he's completely bypassing this middle location. Keep in mind, neither player has actually claimed the middle location. There's a VAB actually moving over to Charlie, and the second one for maxiking is in fact at Echo. Both players playing very safe. A lot of players will move into middle immediately. Some players will want to play safe though, just so in case of all ends. And yeah, it looks like this giant flank is actually going to be maybe sitting for a while. Some preparation for later, perhaps. But it looks like things are stabilizing. We're getting into the mid game, and right now we're looking at two completely isolated locations for FLX with very little defense, and we're seeing two very isolated locations here for maxiking. Maxiking is going to be the first one to move. He's moving for the middle, and very dangerous because there's actually a large group. I see this is actually for now. This is an ambush squad. This is designed to try and get this path here ambushed once the command moves up, but maxiking, not taking any risks, is actually going to manually move it across a much slower route, and he's going along the road, and he's going to go straight for the middle. Now there could be a triggering moment here because this has been a very specific plan. He also has some legions moving up. Could actually pick out some of these Conquerors and some of these Zalos in the back. And this EMX Tempe just not making it Legion deployed, however. Might get cleaned up. Maybe not, though. Could. No, looks like it's going to survive. There's actually nothing that can tag it. And he's actually going to hold this command armor here while he moves the other command armor to a more secure location. This isn't quite a secure location yet. He really cannot move this command armor in just yet because, honestly, the place where he moved it to, which would be right here, is completely open to attack. And will he risk it is a good question. Right now, however, this is the main battlefield, and we're seeing that these Zalos are unloading on these poor Legions who have been left all by themselves. The French Foreign Legion, foreignly running away. There's a guy's rocket on his back, and it's not really a nice way to die when you're dying to random rocket fire. But we're seeing two very distinct strategies. And we see, ooh, a VPZU sneaking up on a Gazelle, and ooh, he's pushed right back into the woods. Not going to go ahead and try and push it. If he did push it, however, he might have been able to do some decent damage. Helicopters do fairly well against infantry, but once you get in close range, the infantry just knock down everything. And this VAVPC is all by itself. That's kind of scary. Does he see it with the range? No, he does not. But he does see the Gazelle. He's slowing the wind to try and take it out. And up top here, we see that a Cobra is actually going to chase down a transport helicopter with some Spetsnaz. Actually, nothing's going to happen here for now. And if this gets taken down in the woods, the Spetsnaz probably cannot land, which looks like it's going to be the case. A pretty stellar pickup here for FLX, who desperately needs points right now and desperately needs to make a big, good move. He has some Mardar Rolands moving through the middle. There's not really many aircraft, of course, so it's kind of a weird choice. Mardar Roland 2, of course, can take care of a lot of infantry, so that's not too shabby. And in fact, he's actually got 4 helicopters here now, chasing down this single helicopter. And the VPZU is actually going to get chased down by some AMX 10Ps, and the VPZU very quickly being pulled back and trying to keep this thing alive as much as possible. And we see there is an action in the middle here as Raredens are trying to knock out these Conquerors. There's artillery fire pounding on that location, and still, this is still alive. Fuel leaked, it's roted, and finally it goes down. Pretty sizable gains there. 130 points behind is FLX. He's artillery firing on this location, trying to get rid of all the infantry. Here comes the big push that we've been waiting for. It's a flanking maneuver. He needs to move with his front forces as well to make this effective. And he's coming from all directions. Going to take it this Conquerors, and there it goes. Now the middle is even less secure, and we can actually see he's placing this command armor in one of the least secure locations on the map. Quite the risk, but keep in mind he knows the enemy's forces are on the other side of the map. The VPZU is somehow still alive. Actually took out one of the anti-infantry armors. Another misstep by FLX. As maxiking trying to move it into position. He has everything but the rockets turned off, and he just wants to rocket things down. Doesn't want to waste any grenades on that. The Buratinos firing in the woods here, making everything cry. Because that's what they do. They make things cry. And we're seeing roughly still the same points in the game. And these AMX OPs actually need to be moved up quite a bit to be a little more effective, a little more bang for their buck. As they're shelling at this middle location, hoping to hit something, and he actually knows the command armor is where he is, so he's actually shelling the command armor location, which is so good of him to pick up on that. A lot of lower level players will not realize that there's like a good tactical mind like that. Whereas if there's a command armor, if the command armor did not come down this road, it has to be a roll. People wouldn't even think that. The command armor is actually going to get pulled back out of total fear. And suddenly FLX is going to get a pretty sizable lead in command points. And that could be scary for maxiking. If higher quality units come out for FLX and change the time of the battle, that could be scary. Keep in mind, FLX has been throwing away quite a few units, so it's not as scary. And we see, ooh, we have the power combination, helicopter and helicopter recon, just moving around the map trying to take him. Oh my god, it's going to mic this helicopter. It's stunned, it's moving, it's going, what's that called? It's not a tailspin, is it? Stalling? A stall tailspin? He's doing a stalling tailspin, and he might just stall tailspin his way out of here. I don't really understand how that works, but it's kind of crazy. And no, you might actually get this. The AMXers are moving around, trying to corner this thing. It's actually going down. It's going down. He's going to lose a very expensive recon. Is maxiking. This could actually be enough to get FLX back in the game if it actually goes down, but no, it looks like it's still alive, still rooted, still alive. That is weird. Still one Amex Tempe, still left there. But the Recon survived, which is kind of scary. Oh, here we go, big pickoff. And now we're only 130 points behind is FLX. Back in the game. You still need to make a big move. And maybe some luck could help. If he can snag this command armor with some random shots, that would be huge. The command armor, once again, getting pulled. Cannot risk it. That is too risky. And especially for this stage of the tournament, people are generally not going to be taking a lot of risks. We see some Legions, some Zippos move across. The Zalos are winding up, and this group of units is just not big enough to deal with what is out here. If these Zippos were to move out into the open field, they would totally get stomped. And totally mean totally. So, there's a small group of unarmed Scots here in the woods here. These Scots, they're worth about 10 points each to lose, and these can just be used as spotters, you know, cheap recon units. With I'm pretty sure they have very low optics. Like, yeah, poor. They're very low optics. So it's nothing great, but it's better than nothing, which is what you'd otherwise get. So it's a 130 point game. It's kind of out of control. But somehow FLX always makes sure to keep that 130 point pattern here. The VAV PC is still very open, still very scary. He has a lot of units here supporting it, but they're not really in a good position to support it. This VPZU can strike at any moment, and it just might. Actually, only has on. He's turned off grenades and rockets, and he only has on close range weapons, which is interesting. The rockets, the grenades are actually what do like the insanely high amount of damage, generally speaking, against the tanks when they get in close range. The Buratino is actually routed and pulled back by our random artillery fire, and it's really still anyone's game. We have FLX getting a pretty sizable lead. Whoa, 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 whoa! Rise Patton's running right into his DPU. One Rise Patton down. Here's another big mistake. 150 point lead now for FLX, and he might be able to get this final single group of units here. They're routed, they're running away, and if he can get up the Patton, it definitely still will not be worthwhile, but he will secure this location, which will be worthwhile. And yeah, the Patton still chasing them down. He's still routed. I don't think he can actually, he doesn't have vision of him. No, he just kind of knows the general direction of where he is. Here's the scary thought. This is all FLX knows. That's all maxiking knows. It's amazing how little information you need to play a game. Here comes the Amex TMPs, sniping in all these scouts, getting a few free points, and the Patton will in fact take out the remainder of these VPCUs, which puts it to a 100 point lead, an actual win for FLX, which has been scarce in this game. And we're seeing he's actually going to try and resupply his command armor so that it doesn't die. It's generally a smart move. And yeah, artillery fire does continue on this location. Whoa, we have Saracen infantry up, pushing up. The Conquerors are actually completely empty and pulling back. And he might actually get it. Looks like it's worried. It's shaken. And it's stirred. It's gone. The Moto Strelki are actually pulling back. The Zalos are actually pulling back as well. This is a lot of infantry. This is 30 infantry versus 20. Not the battle you want. And it's Fusiliers. The Fusiliers are deployed. They will secure this small stretch of woods, making this location less secure. FLX has a 100 point lead. Who thought it'd be that? Abram versus T80U. I do not favor the Abram on this battle. The Abram pulls back wisely. Fusiliers trying to get this Moto Strelki before it's able to get away, and it gets it. 120 point lead for FLX. maxiking has got to start rethinking his strategy. He's got to make some moves that matter now, because he is in fact the one that's behind right now. And there's a weird kind of situation here. These few units now can actually be useful. There's not that many units here, but there are mostly anti-tank weapons. However, if he was to move his infantry forward here, into this location here, we could have a situation where, and that's something like he might be going for. In fact, he's going the opposite of what I'm saying. The Fusiliers have been pulled back, shot back by a volley of Buratino fire, and this Raritan died kind of haplessly. And it looks like it has gone back to being normal. It is a 10-point lead. Wait, let's get even closer. It's a 5-point lead for FLX. So anything can happen right now, and it's kind of a scary situation for both these players because they can be eliminated on the. Am I wrong here? I believe this is the beta giveaway round. I'm pretty sure whoever wins this gets into the Wargame Airland Battles beta. I'm pretty sure that's true. And yeah, we actually see something big must have died there, because FLX just took a pretty sizable lead. Oh, that's a weird place to have a transfer helicopter. I wonder how long this has been sitting here. Looks like he has a transfer helicopter spread all across the map. I'm not sure what he wants to do with them. Keep in mind, neither player has an FOB either, so artillery fire is going to drain on income. Especially how ineffective it is on this map, because this map is freaking huge. This isn't Hell's Highway. You can spread units across very, very high plains, and you can use them very effectively to stop attacks like that. So we see more helicopters coming out for FLX. He's going for heavy, heavy helicopters. Of course, helicopters are quite vulnerable to fire from anti-aircraft units, and can die very, very quickly. But we have to keep in mind that they can also be used to snipe off quite a few units. And in fact, when we look at what maxiking has, he doesn't have that much of an anti-aircraft anymore. I mean, he has nothing here, just infantry. Over on this side, he has a single OSA AK, which could do it. It's. Look at this poor Smirch, completely empty, very, very vulnerable. Could be picked off. 160 point Smirch. And here we go. He's dropping the VPZUs with the transfer helicopter. He's going to take it to Saracen. The Saracen, of course, is a spotter for moves like this. And now he knows there's something going on this southern flank here. The VPZU is actually getting pushed back, however, which is kind of a shift here. And the transport helicopters, of course, there are these cheap ones that don't actually have the capacity to actually carry weapons. So another misstep here from maxiking, as FLX is just slowly getting himself ahead, reversing positions very quickly. And it's all about this income lead right now. And oh my god, look at this location here. He's actually full on pulled back from this location. He's isolated to this location where his command armor is, and this gives an opportunity for FLX, and he does take it, by the way, to move up his weaponry onto this side and create this awkward position where he can hit across the River of Blood and strike into the enemy. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this map is the River of Blood, and we see some good misplay here by FLX, as he has lots of helicopters here firing on these FJB anti-aircraft recons, who of course have the Strela 2, which just one-shots these bad boys. And he has no recon either, so he's not going to be able to deal with this. The cannon's moving very, very close. And here we go, another cannon down. Cobras are trying to do what they can, but looks like he's going to lose a lot. And just like that, maxiking is back in the game. Okay. Serious talk. Seriously, what's up with this name? maxiking? Are you the king of maxi pads? Do you think yourself so good that all women come to get their cleanliness products from you? And what's up with 117? That's not a randomly generated number. If you combine those numbers, that's 9. 9 is a perfect prime of 3 and 3, which if you add them together is 6. That's 666. That's the devil's number. Maxiking is the devil. Alright, so we have a failed helicopter action by FLX, and he's retreating smartly. These FJBs are actually quite good only for that one thing, anti-aircraft weaponry, and they have this weird, they don't pay out as well as pretty much any other infantry, but it's small situations like this where you have them on a weird little flank like this, where you would normally stick an expensive anti-aircraft gun, and you just put your FJBs here. They got, you know, the Strela 2, which is pretty close to the same thing. These Oka, I think the Oka have infrared firing. I could be wrong. I think I'm right though. I actually can't find out where do you put the Oka 2 to? It even sounds weird. Oh, he's bringing some Molkas in. I don't know if that's really smart, considering that he can barely supply the artillery he has. But anyway, we see what we think was progressive artillery fire, and the idea here is that you're going to shell locations and you have no idea what's going on. and then slowly, progressively move to where you know where they are. And this way you can position your units as you move. Huge steal there. Got the URAL supply transports, and now these units cannot be resupplied and will slowly get pecked down by artillery, and that's not a small deal. That is not a small deal at all. FLX moving up his Abrams into position now. He's been effectively shelling this location. He's going to try and take position across the river bluff. He's pulling the command armor right away. He knows this is a dangerous situation for him. And BTR 60 Pies are unloading on this Saracen. He's moving down the road. Two of them carrying the Fusiliers, which of course are your finisher unit. And he has in fact secured this middle location. There's no way that maxiking can in fact take this location. He's going to be forced to pull back to Bravo, which is not all that secure right now. And we see the Zippos are winding up. These are your stunning, confusing, conflagrating units, as very quickly this unit will get demoralized. We could see an infantry drop on top. It's stunned right away. Looks like one group of Fusiliers is forced out. The other one is also forced out. And looks like he's going to burn his own people. Burn his own Fusiliers. A little bit of friendly fire here. Not that good. And FLX is actually chewing away at his lead right now, and the Zippo are going to wind up again, try and get these motor structures. The Fusiliers are pushed back already. They already took too many friendly fire damage from these Zippos, and these motor structures should die anyway. I mean, they are getting burned to death. Yeah, they'll die. Definitely. We see some Malka artillery fire trying to finish off these Fusiliers, and another group of Moslo Strelki are coming along. Abrams winds up on it, might be able to get a few kills before it gets too close. Keep in mind, these Zippos are here, and are definitely a huge need for some anti-tank weapons. The BTR 60 Pi, not quite the answer for that. It's pulling back right now. The Abrams was successful in doing significant damage to it, and now we're in this kind of weird situation. There's a group of AMX infantry vehicles just sitting in the open saying, like, sup? Yeah, we know we're not supposed to be here, so we're just gonna run away. Run away on fire. That's the way to run. Ah, yeah. Helicopters. This is how you should use helicopters, just by the way. You don't rush them in the chase. You use them to pick off units when there's no anti-aircraft around. It's a simple concept. When there's no anti-aircraft, just bring helicopters. It's also good because it forces your opponent to purchase expensive anti-aircraft solutions. Oh my god! What are you doing, FLX? This is your last minute ditch move? No. You're ahead. You don't do this. This is what you do when you're behind. You get a ridiculous amount of aircraft and just go for it. And here we are, FLX taking a ballsy approach of using insanely high amounts of aircraft. And, you know, it's not like he's been maxing him the entire game. He hasn't had Foxtrot the entire time. I mean, he's on 7 points, and his opponent was on 8 points every now and then, so they're probably about even on income. The Zippo actually moving up into a more forward position. Helicopters coming to try and pick off what they can. This is once again how you use helicopters. Practice, of course. And looks like the Zippos might get picked off by this armored Carrier. The Zippos don't stop soon, they'll just get killed. The Zippos are pretty tiny. I mean, they're just little armored personnel carriers with flamethrowers on them. And in fact, it looks like he's trying to pick off the Zippos, which is a pretty nice steal. The AMX 10Ps trying to pick off these transport helicopters, but not very successful. Looks like the Spoo will pick up both Zippos, and suddenly maxiking is back in the game. And oh my god, okay, I got it. Here's a prediction. Here's what's gonna happen. We have a giant cluster of helicopters. We have a game that was won by FLX, hard-earned one, but he's been slowly throwing it away with terrible moves of just throwing away small packs units to small packs units. He's going to rush with all of his helicopters. He's going to clump them up, and the hero units are going to kill all the helicopters. Now, let's watch as this happens. I can just see it happening. I've just seen it happen way too often for it to not happen. In fact, now Maxi King has the lead. He still has this one unit here, which has been here the entire game. I don't know if he ever intends to use that one. Of course, it is expensive. And we have VPs to use moving along the flanks. Like, I gotta give Maxi King credit for this game. If you look at his units and his positioning, much superior. Is a very good idea of vision. And here comes the helicopters moving across the map. Oh, I kind of overzipped there. Fusiliers running into multiple strategy. It looks like the Fusiliers will in fact take this small position in the woods as they attempt to move up. But the tanks are also on the Fusiliers. The Fusiliers need to get into cover quickly. And they do. Alright, so here we go. I would think of this as the game ender. Oh, we have a huge artillery volley. Good premonition on the part of FLX to just unload on this location. And in fact, he's taken this weird southern location. He's going to be able to reinforce and attack at the least defended part of FLX's base. Now we just kind of got to wait for this little move to happen. I feel like there should be some appropriate music for this. What's that song? That one where they're chasing each other in circles? The Benny Hinn Show, maybe? Oh, actually, this is a weird choice. FLX is choosing for a very, very late game third command. These will pay off after about 8 minutes, which means that he'll have a full 7 minutes of bonus units, and because this is conquest mode, he actually also will be less likely to die, which is interesting. And so he's going to get more economically ahead, but at this point in the game, he's going to be kind of a problem, because he's not going to have a lot of units. He's throwing them away. And looks like there's going to be a push on the T-64A. This could be a pretty nice snag. Fusiliers unloading, shooting off those rockets. The tank might be able to get away. The tank does, in fact, get away. And unfortunately, these Fusiliers are forced to retreat into a woods area. FLX, you tease us with these helicopters. Martyr roll into, moving up into a defensive position. We're gonna start unloading immediately on this transport helicopter. Why not? Why not? And this poor Patton seems to be out of fuel, right next to some infantry. I suspect that this Patton might eventually die. And you're probably wondering why I'm talking like the guy from the Ghostbusters. It is because I've just seen this story before. It's one of the unfortunate parts of this actual tournament is that because there's only so many play styles, you see the same story happen over and over and over, in which everyone does the exact same play styles and the same bad plays, and it just loses. Small win for maxiking. Still needs to get another 40 points. There's still 14 minutes left in the game as we approach a lull in the action. Looks like we see another command number going up for maxiking, actually very late, and it might be too late. In fact, he's not even going to use it. He actually has 2 command numbers. He's not using it. So in fact, it can be too late. He has to get that command number to a location by the 6-minute marker to have any effectiveness of it at all. And already it's inefficient. There's a single anti-aircraft gun here. This is the scary part for maxiking, and I actually see what FLX is doing. It's kind of smart. He's moving up his infantries very slowly, trying to snipe any. Oh, here he has more. Okay, he has a lot more. Any anti-aircraft guns, and then he's going to try and finish up with this giant cluster of helicopters, which he's hiding. And this is smart to not show them, because if he shows too many, his opponent is just going to start queuing up a bunch of anti-aircraft guns. And this command number is probably about 4 anti-aircraft guns worth, or 3 really good ones. So you got to keep that in mind. These choices are having a huge effect on the game right now. And, you know, FLX is actually pushed into a very odd map dichotomy in which he controls 2/3 of the map and his opponent controls 1/3 of the map. Kind of odd. And, yeah, still 11 minutes left in the game. FLX is still behind though. He still needs 6 points. And ooh, UAZ Recon has no guns. Running into a Saracen. I'm sure someone's like, no, it's Saracen. It's pronounced FV. Sorry, FV. 603 Saracen. People are telling me. And Legion are going to try and do what it can right now. There is an anti-aircraft, anti-infantry vehicle here pounding on it. Looks like it's panicked though. He wants to chase down these Scots before they get any closer. He's pulling back the Abrams. Very quick, very smart move. You don't want Abrams engaging infantry in the woods. Jungling is the definite action of infantry. And the Saracens can pick up this very cheap recon. Might be enough points just to give FLX a temporary lead. And we're now at the 10-minute marker. And this is the point in the game where people start plotting their end moves. And realistically, at the 10-minute marker, you only have like one move left. That's it. And so now FLX has a 20-point lead with these 3 Scots sneakily moving into the woods, trying to secure this wooded location. He wants to secure this wooded location, by the way, so he can move his command armor here at Bravo. Whoa. No command armors in place right now. Uh-oh. Are both command armors moving? No, one of them's not moving. I don't understand why this is not taken. Might need to settle in. And the Legion, the French Legion, doing considerable damage here to the Motostrelsi, but whoa. Both units stop firing randomly. A little bit of ceasefire here. It is Christmas after all. Well, New Year's. And we have Fusiliers versus VPZUs. And it looks like the Fusiliers just stomping in the VPZUs, pulling back over because they're rotated. And looks like this small group of Legion are going to get cleaned up by a large group of units, and they're actually going to take considerable damage. Looks like one of the BTR pies actually goes down. He could get another one. Might he get another one? He does not. However, still lead for FLX, and this small group of VPZUs has been putting up one hell of a fight. Fusiliers have not quite the range of these VPZUs, mostly because of the recon site added, and so we have lots of Saracens and oh my god. These VPs are doing these insanely high mass damage. They might be able to put next connectingly. They do temporarily. Now I don't know the cost. I know they're quite expensive. He's getting too close to these vehicles. Grenade damage is coming, and these Fusiliers, if you can get one of these squads, that'd be huge payout. And looks like it dies in time. And we have a 30-point lead here for FLX. Whew, this has been one of the most back and forward games of the entire tournament. Is one I'm definitely happy that I decided to pick up to watch. And we see a VAB moving to the woods. It's not nearly enough to deal with all of this, but because everything's so spread out amongst the woods, it's enough to deal with some of this. Like this group of, oh my god, Rep from Moss, hello. We have some anti-infantry grenades here. You can tell they're anti-infantry because they have the stun effect on them, of course. And a small pickup maybe for FLX here. Not really enough to pay out this recon squad though if he is to lose that, fortunately. And in fact, the recon squad is continuing to lose numbers, and Motostrelsi will go down, but they'll go down, cutting down this squad quite a bit. So we see a 50-point lead now for FLX. It'd be very wise for him to actually pull this Rep from Moss squad out of here and not lose it, because at this point in the game, he cannot lose anything. Cannot lose anything at all. And we can see this extra command will not in fact come into play the game. It'll never pay itself off. A poor choice on the part of maxiking, and it's something to realize. Like if you get 5 points every 5 seconds, at least that's how it works. That means you will get 100 points in a minute. They cost 200. If you get a 5-point mark, it'll pay itself off after 2 minutes. It'll become effective after 3 minutes. But for these little 2-pointers, that's 5 and 6 minutes. That's a long time to pay out. Speaking of throwing away the game, we see some Abrams moving up, and maxiking actually takes on our lead again. The Abram is going to try and take out these armored personal carriers. There is no infantry in the jungle here to deal with this tank. The carrier is pulling back, but he's slowly running out of fuel. The Abram also pulling back, not wanting to engage. Not really necessary change, but whatever. Artillery fire shelling this fairly concentrated location. If he gets anything here, it's a win for him. There's just so much stuff here, especially these U-Rolls, these critical supply trucks, and it's true of both players. If either player uses their artillery and gets some snakes and kills here and there, they're going to do very well with it. The points in the game is so close that, oh my god, here comes the Gazelles, all firing into this location. He's finally revealed his hand. It is at the 6-minute marker, and it's just an insanely high amount. The Cobras here have actually almost run out of rockets, and there's actually some Motostrelki here, so he doesn't want to get too close. And the FLX is taking a 1-point lead. That is insane. BTR 6 is winding up. He cannot lose a single Gazelle at this point. That is scary. what he has to do, and this is one of these weird things, he has to force his opponent to make a bad move, and then he has to use these helicopters to pick off units as they make the bad move. Kind of scary. Keep in mind, this FJB here, this hero FJB that took out like 4 helicopters by itself, is completely out. It's reinforcing its supply of rockets, which is good, and unfortunately there's no way at all that FLX can hit this location until this FJB is dead. This FJB 40 squad needs to die. If it does not die, you'll never be able to get in this location. This is too scary. There are 4 Strela rockets, which is enough to kill 4 of these helicopters and take the game for maxiking. Doesn't look like maxiking's going to make any end moves here. Looks like he's just trying the turtle, trying to stay in the game, and hoping that his very aggressive opponent FLX makes mistakes. And here we go. The first mistake is coming in right now. Recon helicopter. Is it going to go down? Is it going to go down? Oh my god. He just took down the... Nope. He didn't take it down. It's still alive. That is scary. It looks like a freaking, like, melting maxi pad right now, but it is still alive. Maxi King turns everything into maxi pads. We see 4 infantry moving to the woods here. Maxi King actually took a considerable lead. He had to kill a helicopter. And now FLX is in this awkward situation where he has to make some big moves, and he has to make them fast. He's got 4... I just spat at myself out of excitement. FLX has been making a lot of bad moves, a lot of aggressive moves. He has taken position on the map, but he hasn't effectively seized that yet. And now we have 4 Fusiliers being deployed against 20 Motostrel. The 4 Fusiliers, of course, will win this because they have the 4 Saracen FV603. And he's completely done a good split here with Fusiliers. This lowers the morale damage that can happen. Makes it so only 1 squad hits morale damage. And he's pulling the BTR 60 pies out of the woods. He knows he can't lose them. Wait, he stopped moving them. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. There's a 100-point difference right now, which is still huge. It's a huge difference here. And in fact, Maxi King knows about the mass amount of helicopters. He has anti-aircraft weaponry everywhere. He has it covered. The only play that can be done right now that will save FLX is this little Fusilier squad right here. And he needs to do considerable damage. He's moving the Gazelles around the complete outside flank. There, of course, is the Bukmi anti-aircraft with the radar-tracked, high-accuracy anti-aircraft weapons. What he needs to do, and this is kind of scary, is complete land attacks. And he needs to not run in his Gazelles into the FJB squad. This is a mistake. He doesn't even have to split up. He could lose a lot of them very quickly right now. The FJB squad only has 2 more shots left. Only 2 more shots, and the Gazelles are taking considerable losses. 110-point lead right now. Oh my god, the Bukmi's also fired in. 160-point lead. Maxi King is out of control right now. Apache's coming in from the side, want to get this FJB squad, but it's like running your head into a wall and then pounding your head against the wall, and then your head's bleeding, and you decide to make a Van Gogh piece of art out of your blood, and then you decide that it's crap because you're artistic and you're a jerk, and you continue smashing your head against that wall. That's what it's like right now. 500-point lead for Maxi King. This game is over. This game is over. There is absolutely nothing FLX can do. FLX is kicked out of the tournament. Maxi King moves on to the next round. And oh my god. This is what he should have done right here. This little push here was more than enough. More than enough to take the game back. FLX. You have cheated us all. My name has been Troublemaker, and this is the Wargame Cup. I have 1 more match today, and it's a much more even match. You know, points-wise. It's like a 2,000 versus 2,200 rated player, so it's going to be something special. Bye.